Indeed, Jack, back at the base of the rims, and we're now joined by Jamie Stevens, the sixth-year men's basketball coach at MSU Billings with the Yellow Jackets, and a suffering Dodger fan. The things you find out when you're just making small talk during commercial breaks. How you holding up?
I'm okay. I'm on my Cowboys now. So we're off to a good start now.
Well, you know, you're a Cardinal fan. You get it out of the way. I got it out of the way faster this year, and my recovery started earlier. So my condolences to you, but there's always next year.
Yeah, I'm over it now. So.
Okay, so Jamie, we're here to talk basketball, and curious what your thoughts are going into this season. As we talked with a couple of your players here, Preston and Jordan, last year, kind of a rough start, but you guys finished pretty strong, winning 5 of your last 9. And where did that off season leave you feeling?
Well, we were excited about we're really excited about getting started. But last year we were excited about obviously the way we finished. I know we won 5 of our last 9, and those were all conference games, and we had to fight through some adversity last year. We lost three starters to, I guess you could probably say 4 starters. We lost 3 to injuries and 1 to some eligibility things. So we had to fight through some adversity last year, and by the end of the year, we had a group that was playing really, really well together. We felt like we could compete with anybody in the conference. We had some really, really good wins, and that's just carried over. We have 10 returners, 9 of which played. And anytime you go into practice and you have that many guys that have been through the program, and we have several. We have 2 guys that have been through the program now 5 years, 2 fifth-year guys and 2 fourth-year guys. When you have that kind of retention, it just it makes we're allowed to come in and just kind of focus on getting better. We don't have to reteach things, and so we're really excited about this group. We have 3 new guys and 10 returners, and we feel like we can carry on from that success that we had at the end of last year, and build on that hopefully early this year.
It's a new season. Last year has passed. I am curious how you navigate when you're going through tough stretches like that, and if there's anything to do at the time and to take from that moving forward.
Well, it was funny last year. We got to 6-6, and the night we beat Western Washington at home, we were 3-1 in league, and it was the night that Jace tore his ACL. And after that night, and he was the third guy we'd lost to an injury, a season-ending injury that year, and it was a really deflating feeling in the locker room that night after we had just won a game against Western Washington. When we get to 6-6, we're 3-1 in league, and Jace is actually the GNAC player of the week that week, and it was one of those things where it sent us into a tailspin a little bit. I think we lost our next 7. It took some time to adjust, but if you look at a lot of events that happened, we also started a 4-game road trip. We had to go 2 games, 1 in Northwest Nazarene, 1 to Central Washington, and then 2 to Alaska. So that was part of it. It was there's never a good time to lose a starter to an injury, but right before a 4-game road trip is definitely not the time, and so that set us into a tailspin. But as far as getting through those times, it's funny because I can remember through that whole stretch, we would feel great about ourselves, and we'd feel great about where the team was Monday through Wednesday, because we would have unbelievable practices. We'd have great energy. The kids, the guys are getting better, and then you go out and you don't see some of the results that you want to see. That's probably the hardest thing, is that you feel so good about yourself and you feel so good about your team, and the guys feel really good about the way things are going and the way things are progressing Monday through Wednesday, and then to not see the rewards of it, that's the tough thing. So I think the best thing is just to keep grinding in practice, and that's what the guys did. They kept grinding. They kept trying to, we're trying to get better and trying to see that light at the end of the tunnel. At some point, we're going to have some of the rewards for the hard work. And I think the last, 9 games or so, we played really well. And I think those guys saw the rewards of it. And it's carried over into this year. We feel, as a staff, we have not coming back to the offices after any practices saying, boy, that was a bad practice. We feel like the guys are getting better every day. And that's the goal at this time of year.
When you come off that final game of last year, what happens at that point? Are you chomping at the bit actually to get back to having fall practices start, or what do you work through during the summer?
Basically at that point, we're still trying to fill that roster. We were still trying to get a couple commitments at that point. The 3 guys we signed last year, we had not gotten commitments from and had not signed, so we were still kind of in full recruiting mode. But we were excited. The NCAA mandates we take 2 weeks off. The moment our last game, the moment we're eliminated from championship competition, we have to take 2 weeks off. And after we took those 2 weeks off, my assistant coach and I, we were excited about getting to work with our guys for another 6 or 7 weeks before finals. And so it was a great experience. We had a great spring. The guys got better in the weight room. They got better on the court. And then the summer's kind of a unique experience, especially at our level. We don't have any contact with our guys in the summer. I mean, we can talk to them and see them, but we don't work with them one-on-one. We can't be in the gym with them, and they're not generally going to summer school, so it's a little bit different than the Division I level. But so the summer's a little bit of a break for them away from us, and a little bit of a break for us away from them, and we can tell the first week of September who's put their time in the summer and who hasn't, and for the most part, our guys have taken care of business in the summer. They came in ready to go, and we feel like we have a special group. We feel like we have a group that has a chance to do some really good things this year, and with the preparations in, we're ready to get going.
Before we dig a little deeper into this current team, maybe talk a little bit about recruiting. And talking to Kevin Wooden, he's got some pretty fertile grounds here in Montana for women's basketball players. What is it like recruiting at the Division II level for men at the sole D2 program in Montana?
Well, it's funny. I think I think at our level, we're always saying, for us to compete with the best teams in our league, we have to get guys that probably should and could be playing at Division I schools. The best players in our league are guys that can play at that level. If you just look at the preseason, or a guy that's probably going to be the preseason player in our league from Alaska, Anchorage, Suki Wiggs. 2 years ago as a sophomore at Idaho, he was averaging 10 or 11 a game. For whatever reason, transferred to Anchorage. I don't know why. I wish he'd have stayed at Idaho. And he's that's the kind of guy you need to get in our league. To compete. So we need to get some of the guys that maybe could play at Montana and Montana State, and so we've really tried to recruit Montana, and we've tried to recruit the local area, and we can't get into exactly who we offered those kind of things, but we've really tried to get Montana kids here. We're excited about the 3 Montana kids we do have. All 3 are going to be major minute guys for us. They're all going to play a lot. And we do want to stick with Montana guys, but we also feel that at some point, we've kind of gotten into California the last couple of years. If the last 4 out of the last 5 high school kids that we've signed in our last 2 recruiting classes, 4 of them are from California. And when people ask me about that, I just say, well, there's 40 million people in California, and there's 1 million in Montana, and so there's a lot to choose from out there. And the 2 freshmen we have this year are both from Sacramento. I think when fans and people come out to see them, they're gonna like what they see. They're gonna like the speed and athleticism that they're gonna bring to the program. But we do want to we want to recruit Montana heavily. We want to keep the best Montana players home. And we want to get the guys that can compete at this level.
How are you able to identify players that are a good fit here when you're looking at an entire region, and know not only that they're going to be a good fit here, but that they're going to like being in Billings, Montana?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think the first, this is going on my 6th year, which is, it's amazing to think. It feels like just yesterday I started. But, we tried to bang our head a little bit in Oregon and Washington and tried to kind of hit that Pacific Northwest. Obviously, that's where most of our league is located. And, for whatever reason, didn't have a lot of success. And then, I think recruiting is just kind of trying to figure out a lot of different things and where you can have success, and then developing relationships with high school coaches, with AAU coaches. The AAU scene has become so big in the country that's where you have to develop the relationships with. And for whatever reason, my assistant coach, who's Coach Brad Schmidt, he's been with me now going on the 5th year. And for whatever reason, we got into California a couple years ago and sparked up some relationships with some really good AAU coaches, and we're able to identify the last guy you just talked to, Preston, who was freshman of the year in the GNAC, and is probably going to be a preseason GNAC guy. And it's funny, when we start recruiting these California kids, it's like the first question we ask is, do you want to leave California? And not surprising, 90% of the time the kids say, "Yeah, we're ready to get out of California." Really? Yeah, and I think the California kids they find that going to Montana, I think it's an attractive place. You know, they've lived amongst the 40 million. They're ready to see something new, and you know, that's the first question we ask. And you know, it's funny when we bring all these prospective student athletes on visits, whether they're from California or wherever. It's amazing how you know, they're all shocked at, you know, wow, we didn't expect Billings to be like this or this size, and how nice it is. And you know, I think we had one story. I had actually our current freshman, his grandma was worried about the bears, and we said, you know, we should be okay in downtown.
We provide bear spray at practice.
Yeah, so and she was serious, and so that was sometimes that's some of the misperceptions we deal with. But what we found is the California kids, they you know, they're excited to see something new.
Now, you know, one of your predecessors, great coach here, Mike Harkins, used to tell some of the recruits that the Yellowstone River is flowing right through campus.
Yes.
You haven't gone that far, have you?
No, and I think he used to say that the Rocky Mountains were
right here.
So
skiing after
yes,
class.
I know that story, and when they got here, they, you know, times have changed now with the internet, so I think they can look that stuff up. Yeah, it hurts us a little bit more in recruiting, so.
Well, so let's dig in a little bit to your team this year. As you said, 10 guys coming back. You've got some newcomers, some pieces that will fit in. You're optimistic. What do you think can happen this year?
Well, you know, it's funny. This is a funny time of year because we're about 2 weeks into practice, and all we've played against is ourselves. So I can't tell whether we're really good offensively or just really bad defensively. You know, it's funny, and that's kind of where we're at. I think that we have a team that should be really. We should be pretty good offensively. We just have a good mix of guys that are pretty skilled. We have guys that can score with their back to the basket. We have a lot of guys that can shoot it. We have some athleticism. And I think the most important thing is we have guys that are unselfish. You know, they play for each other. They make the extra pass. Guys have good vision. So I really think offensively we should be pretty good. Defensively, I think we have a ways to go. I think that at times that we could struggle a little bit there, especially early. And we've put a lot of emphasis early, honestly, on some of the offensive things. And I know a lot of programs do it backwards. A lot of programs come in and just do 2 weeks of defense, and then the offense will catch up. And we've tried to kind of balance it out here our first couple of weeks. But I think we could be pretty good offensively. I think we have some weapons, and I just hope we can get enough stops to not look just terrible defensively. We're going to find out a little bit more, obviously, in the next 2 weeks when we actually get to play somebody that's not ourselves.
What does your gut tell you about whether we're just really good offensively or we've got work to do defensively?
You know, it's funny. We've just shot it really well in practice, and I think we're 8 or 9 or 10 days now into practice, and obviously we start a little bit later than everybody else in the country at our level, but. You know, it seems like every practice, we're making shots, and it's hard to come in the gym and shoot the ball at a good rate, even when no one's in the gym. But for whatever reason, we've shot it really well in practice, and hopefully that can continue. We might get out there and the lights come on and people in the crowd and playing against another team and not shoot it as well. But so far, we've shot it pretty well. I think we. Because of the unselfishness and because of the 2 or 3 weapons that we feel like we do have offensively, I think there's some different things we can do to ensure that we really don't go into a lot of scoring lulls. But hopefully that continues when we start playing against other people.
I'll put you on the spot here. You're picked 7th in the GNAC. Too low?
This was funny. This year they actually had us. They had the coach when we did the preseason poll. We included our own teams. A lot of polls don't include your own teams, and I had us higher than 7. I'll be honest, because that's how I felt pretty good about this team, and I sure hope it's too low, because obviously in our league the top 6 make the conference tournament. I think our league is gonna be really good. I think Anchorage is obviously very good, and Western Washington's always very good. After those 2, I think it's up in the air. So I hope it's low. I know that with as many returners we have back and as many guys that I feel that we're a relatively young team, as we only have 2 seniors, and we'll probably start 3 sophomores. But when the most of the talent and experienced talent is in our younger classes. You know, when we can roll out Preston, who's a sophomore, and he's got a chance to be an all-league guy. So even though we are relatively inexperienced, we do have, guys that have been in the program a long time.
So does that even mean, you're playing for this year? You're maybe building a little bit for the year after?
Yeah, we're excited. We only lose two guys this year, and they're two guys that have both been in the program, 5-year guys. Jace Anderson out of Saco Whitewater, and then Mark Matthews out of Arizona. That's two guys that have been in the program for 5 years. I mean, they made it through 5 years with me. That alone is, shows how tough they are. But to only lose those two guys and to be able to bring everybody back, and we hope to obviously bring everybody else back. But we feel like we're building. We feel like we can be good this year, and we feel like we can be even better in years to come.
All right, Jamie Stevens, how good are you at coaching against knee injuries?
Well, not very good last year. I wasn't very good last year. We had a bunch of injuries last year, so I need to do a better job this year.
All right, we wish you good luck starting there. A healthy team for starters.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Go from there. Enjoyed it, and we'll stay in touch during the season.
All right, thanks a lot. You bet.
When we come back, we'll hear from MSUB men's soccer coach Alex Balog about the program's number 6 ranking we've got this week in the region, and that bodes well as they come into some big games this weekend. So, Billings Sports Talk on KBLG.